Welcome back, divers. I am your host, Cosmic.
And I'm your co-host, Twist.
And today's topic is going to be about AI. Welcome back, divers. I know it's been a minute since we've been back, but today we have a good topic for you. We are going to talk about artificial intelligence. And Twist, do you have the definition for AI?
I do. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that enables machines to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. AI uses algorithms, data, and computational power to simulate human intelligence. So today we're going to talk about, is AI a good thing or a bad thing? Some of the positive things about AI is, for example, self-driving cars, which is like an interesting concept, virtual personal assistants, content creation, which is I can be a witness because I'm currently using that myself, which I love, art, media, education, and public welfare, among many other avenues within our everyday life.
Can you think of a time when you've used AI? It could be recently, it could be in the past. How has AI been helpful to you?
Well, like I said, in content creation, I'm really new. I'm like digging this whole YouTube thing. You guys, it's like so fun. I had like, who knew? It's been really fun. And I'm creating a couple of websites right now. And sometimes I just don't have the bandwidth to come up with, the whole about us and how and to make it sound good. I know what I want to say, but as far as to make it sound good where it's relatable to all, I've been using AI, and I have this AI generator where I put in a couple of words or a sentence and it'll pull like a whole huge paragraph. So I'm like, this is awesome. So I like it in that respect, and it stops me from having to hire someone to do that work for me while I work on the actual physical product. So I enjoy it. However, I also know that there are some downsides to AI.
Yeah, I think that as well. I don't use AI much. The only AI system that I've ever really used was for, well, that's not true. Technically, if you have an iPhone, we all use Siri. Well, Siri is one of the first forms of AI that was available to the public. So, that's a form of AI I use. And guys, when I was in school, I was using, when I couldn't figure out a hard word problem, I used this app where you could take a picture of the word problem and it helps you figure out what it is, the steps you're supposed to take to complete it. So that helped me, especially because I was doing online school. So my instructors weren't keeping up with me. They weren't, I'd email them. I wouldn't hear back from them. The assignment's due tonight. So AI was perfect in those instances to help me.
I was just going to say, I hope no professors are listening, because next thing you know, they're going to be watching you do your homework.
I cheated.
But it works.
Answer the email then.
Right.
That's how I feel about it.
Right. Now there are some great things that AI is capable of doing. For example, they can solve problems, as you stated earlier. They can recognize patterns, so where they can predict what action to take next. AI can understand natural language and translate spoken or written languages, which is also a great thing. And also, AI can learn from its errors to increase accuracy. And that's a little more than we can do as human beings, because as human beings, we're going to make errors.
We'll make errors, but we do not fix them as quickly as AI. Which is a scary thing. And let's get into some of the cons of why people feel eerie about AI. The thing is, if to anybody who's seen iRobot, you feel skeptical about AI because that's scary. Okay, so these AI can learn. So at what point does AI learn that it doesn't need humans anymore, or that humans don't have a valuable place, or it depends on its purpose, like in the movie iRobot. Its job was it had all these rules of what it could and couldn't do, right? Who's to say, if you're saying that they learn from their error, who's to say that AI won't become clever enough to overtake people? Then what? Then we're in trouble.
Well, it's definitely a possibility. It's so funny that you mentioned iRobot because that came out so long ago. It's almost as if it was predicted that this is where we would be in the near future.
Right.
And a lot of the time, what I have an issue with as humanity, I'll say, is that we smart ourselves into being unneeded and unnecessary. So with the whole increase of AI technology, are we pushing ourselves out of employment in particular?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I believe I read something where it said that McDonald's is planning on running an all AI establishment, which means there won't be a person working there, not in the kitchen, not at the counters, not at the drive-thru. Everything will be AI operated, which pushes the everyday person, your teenagers, your people who have had a hard go at life, the felons who can't get a job anywhere else but these places. They're in a bad position. And then what happens when these people don't work anymore?
That is true. However, I can say that AI in fast food establishments or customer service heavy industries, it might not be such a bad thing.
And I don't think it'd be a bad thing either. Especially, guys, how we've talked about customer service where we live. It is poor. It is so poor. They get your food wrong, and then they have an attitude the whole time. You get up to the drive-through screen, and they come across the mic, and they already got an attitude. And then after everything you order, they're like, "Is that it? Are you done?
Anything
else?"
Yeah. Right.
So it's like, oh man.
Well, what's interesting is that one time, and it was just recently too, I was in the Burger King drive-thru, and you know how sometimes they have that first pay window open, and then you go to the second window and get your food.
Right.
Well, this particular day they had that first window open, and I went to the first window to pay for my meal, and this lady is on the phone arguing with a bill collector.
Wow.
And then put her finger up like, wait a minute, to me.
Right.
While she continued her argument with this bill collector.
Right.
And I was just sitting there thinking, should I say something? But I opted not to because, my food is being prepared.
Right.
So, you always have to be careful where there's food involved.
And see,
as far as what you say.
And as a consumer, that sucks.
It does.
That sucks.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I feel hesitant, and I'm paying you guys. For a service. And I have to, if I want to eat, I have to sit here and not worry about something being in my food that you guys probably aren't taking the utmost care with already anyway. It's kind of like, that's why companies are losing money from a business standpoint. As an owner, as a CEO, I could see why someone would say, hey, I don't think that having people work in certain regions, pause for the cause, in certain regions where, we're losing sales because of customer service.
I completely agree with that. And you know what, too? And think about all of the fast food places here where we live. There's like this one strip, and it has like most of the fast food restaurants on it. And Chick-fil-A is always packed.
Yes.
And Burger King, nobody there.
Yep.
McDonald's, hardly anybody's there. Wendy's, hardly anybody's there. there.
Yeah.
And that's because whatever that code is, Chick-fil-A has cracked it.
And it's customer service.
But
They demand it.
They are the only ones. They are the last, standing.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that people are going to attitude themselves and back customer service themselves right out of a job.
Yeah.
Or that immigration problem that we have
Exactly.
is going to solve that.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be happy to be there, happy to be making money.
Right.
But at the same time, I hurt for other people who need those jobs too.
And me too.
However, they don't understand, or do they realize what is on the horizon for them if they don't straighten up?
And you know what another scary thing about AI is for me? If anyone who watches The Circle, The Circle's an social experiment where they put these people into these apartments and they're alone. No one sees each other. However, they're all They're all communicating via this social media service called The Circle. And the show is about becoming the best influence. The best influencer wins. So it's about being authentic, being yourself, or catfishing so well that the people believe that it's you. On this particular season, I believe it was the last season, they had an AI robot in the mix. And the scary part is no one, not once, suspected the AI to be the catfish, someone that they weren't expecting. And that's scary because we're so disconnected from each other that we can't even tell when it's a real person talking and when it's not.
That is an excellent, excellent point. And for those of you who don't know, The Circle is created by Netflix.
Yes.
And they have several seasons.
Yes.
And it's a social experiment. And it's very interesting to see the interaction between human beings and, as Cosmic said, also AI, and how you communicate with each of those entities. And with this AI individual, no one even suspected. That gives you an idea of how good AI is.
Exactly.
Now, some of the negatives is that AI does not have emotional intelligence. However, AI learns.
Exactly.
So, and they may learn faster than human beings learn.
And this is the point, because what happens is we're basically building a narcissist. Narcissists are not capable of emotional intelligence. However, what they're capable of is understanding emotional intelligence in other people. So basically what we're building are narcissists.
Okay.
In a sense.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, potentially.
Things that the only difference is that for now, AI is here to serve us. But what happens when AI's main goal is to protect the planet and they realize that people aren't good for the planet? Then what happens? Then we're getting slaughtered in the streets, and it's like, it's terrible. You see?
Maybe you're going a little far with slaughtered in the streets, but
Look,
anything's possible.
Did you see iRobot, guys?
Yes. But you know what's interesting too is that I was reading an article and it stated that AI has biases and is also discriminatory.
Is it really?
It says,
well, it only makes sense because of its creators.
It says that AI systems can perpetuate or amplify societal biases due to biased training data or algorithmic design. So just what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is scary.
That's scary.
So are there negatives? Absolutely. And it's just like social media, I guess, you guys, because I have had the conversation with several people about, is social media positive or a negative? And I think an overall consensus is social media is a positive.
I agree.
But you just have to kind of weed out the negatives, recognize what they are, and expel them, or to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that statement. There are a lot of negatives that have come out of it, but at the same time, you've never been so connect. As much as we lose the real connection with people, people have never been more accessible. And the only time you see people outside, you see the celebrities and stuff. You have to be a celebrity to be known or for someone to have guidance or something. Now, say you lost your grandmother, somebody's grandmother you might for whatever reason be drawn to is on TikTok and giving advice, and it reminds you and you feel you have this thing, and you never know this lady if not for social media. Guys, I recently had an issue because I suffer from a form of bipolar disorder. And it's good to be able to hear other videos of other people who are going through, the people I would have never met outside of the hospital, or because, people aren't usually open and honest about what it is they struggle with. There's so many positives to having AI, and I think that it's more, or social media in general, and I think that it's more positive than it is negative. However, what it is bad is really bad.
Well, so the same thing can apply to AI.
Exactly. And I would agree to that. Have you seen these videos where people are paying for stuff with their hand? Like they wave their hand over the checkout, and it says, oh, it's clear. It's like, how does that even work?
I haven't seen that, but they have predicted that this is what the future would hold. Now, keep in mind with that, though, is that they said, and when I say they, guys, it's very loosely because I don't have the information readily available, but based on what I remember, they said that there was going to be some sort of chip implant where you could actually, with your eyes or your hand.
I am so glad that you said that, because I was thinking about it, but guys, I don't have all the information either, but I remember what it's called. I remember having a conversation with someone. It's called Neuralink, and it does have something to do with it. It's almost like if like in the movies and stuff, you can go on, if you want to be on Google with your eyes, you can go on Google with your eyes. And it was also good because it was going to give people who have missing limbs and stuff the opportunity to be able to actually use the artificial limb with the Neuralink. That's what they were kind of looking towards based on the information I heard from the conversation I had. I didn't read or see any information on it. I didn't go and look any information up. I will in the future because it is something I'm interested in. But I did hear about this.
Yeah, so there are so many things that are on the horizon with artificial intelligence. It's exciting and scary all at the same time. I think that it is very beneficial to us in our everyday lives. But when you look at the base of it, I'm not sure it's the best thing for humanity.
The Neuralink. Or AI in general.
AI in general.
It's not good for humanity, and that's what's scary, is that it's not in our favor. And like I said, guys, once people who can't work low-level jobs and can't get any jobs anywhere else, that's going to lead to chaos in certain regions.
Absolutely. And also, too, you have to recognize the technological dependence that comes along with something like AI.
Where people forget how to do for themselves.
Yes.
Kind of like WALL-E.
Yes. And for example, it's the increased reliance on AI can lead to vulnerabilities, especially if there are technical glitches or cyber attacks.
Right.
Very much how we are so dependent on our cell phones.
Wow.
And so dependent on things that actually have to be plugged up.
Right.
So in the event of something like a cyber attack, our entire existence will shut down if AI takes over.
And you know what's worrisome about that? Is how do we know that Neuralink won't be able to be hacked? And then you won't even have control over your own body.
Your own body, your own bank account. I mean,
wow.
you know what?
I didn't even think of that.
And it really sounds
far-fetched.
far-fetched and outrageous. But just like when iRobot came out,
right,
we were in the theaters or at our in our living rooms or wherever you watched it, if you did watch it, thinking this is such entertainment.
Right.
But here we are.
Right.
Here we are. So we just don't know. And then the increasing activity with our foreign adversaries, you just never know when they're going to attack us. And the smart thing to do would be to cyber attack.
And I'm not stupid. I'm not one of the. They're more afraid of us than we are of them. That's ridiculous. You don't know that. You do not.
What?
You know, people like when people say with animals, for instance.
Well, because that's me. Because
They're
that's
more
how
afraid
I
of
think.
you. Okay. You go. You go to the zoo and get in the lion's den and see how afraid the lion is of you.
I don't think regarding AI, I don't think that's a valid statement because, again, as we stated, they don't have emotional intelligence.
But
all they know is data.
Right.
And they can process it so much faster than we can as human beings. So if anybody should be afraid, it should be us. They're not afraid at all because there's no emotion there.
Exactly.
They're smarter than us. They can rectify a problem faster than we can.
Right.
And you should be very afraid.
You should. Everyone should.
Everyone should. It's a great thing, you guys. It's a great thing. We're like advancing like at light speed with artificial intelligence
and our inventions.
But it's going to come back to bite us just like everything else has.
I do feel that way. And to the people who say things aren't possible, people used to communicate by letters and it would take months.
You're right. Can you imagine that back in the day they used to write letters that could take months to get to the person, and they are maintaining a relationship through communication that way. Boy, how things have changed.
I could send a text message right now to be there in less than a second.
All over the world,
right. I could send somebody a text in the UK right now and they're going to get it in less than a second, if not like 3 seconds, as opposed to something taking 4 months to cross the ocean, get to you. And then, hell, I know mail used to get lost.
Of course it did.
So you're probably sitting there thinking...
He hasn't written to me. Yeah, things have certainly changed, haven't they?
They have.
And also, you guys, think about this. What is the privacy infringement like when AI continues to move forward full speed ahead?
What do you mean?
Well, right now with just regular, paying your bills online,
right?
Having communications through your phone, logging into your bank account via your phone or computer, whatever the case. Hackers are just like, rubbing their hands because it's like, the pickings are good.
Yeah.
So if AI continues to take over, what happens when those hackers just start tapping in and you have no control at this point? For example, like that McDonald's you're talking about, that's going fully AI.
Right.
How do they know that your credit card information and all of these things are vulnerable to privacy infringement?
And all it takes is for someone to be sitting in the system and surfing through bank accounts and be like, "Oh, this person has some money."
Exactly.
And then next thing you know, you're calling your bank. There's no
It wasn't
money in
me.
my account.
It wasn't me, but because things are so advanced.
Yep.
And that's the scary part, because again, there are negatives and positives to everything, but because there are people who sit and pray with this sort of a situation, it's just, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I'm on the fence about how I feel. Is it beneficial? Absolutely. Are there negatives? Absolutely.
Knowing that the AI can take prejudices and biases based off of how they're programmed, at that point, like as far for someone who's a minority, I am anti-AI at this point after I've learned that, because that's no good news for me. And then it's like you don't even have the chance for the human component. sometimes somebody hates, they have their prejudices or their biases, but you connect on that human level. Robots, all they know is kill anything darker than the shade of a paper bag, and it's a wrap.
Not the
Or
paper bag theory.
Or capture, yeah, right. Capture anything darker than a paper bag, then it's a wrap. It's a wrap for me, especially in the summer.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
Oh.
But definitely, definitely something to be thought about. And I think that right now we're so in the beginning stages.
I need to see what MJ got.
We are so in the beginning stages of AI that there's just really, we don't know where it's going to lead, but we can definitely anticipate where that's going to go. History wise, we can anticipate where that's going to go.
And what is the golden rule? If you don't learn from history will repeat itself.
Yes, correct.
Now, Absolutely. It might not be the same in the same manner.
Yeah.
But the baseline of it will still repeat itself.
Yes. So, okay. So what are the negatives of AI? The negatives are unemployment.
Right.
For the masses. Okay. And how that works out. Biased and discriminatory algorithms. Mm-hmm. Lack of transparency. Okay. Profiling, which is what we just discussed a few moments ago.
Right.
And discrimination, and also privacy infringement. So those are big, huge negatives.
They are.
And you know what it kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of America and how America started outsourcing all of our manufacturing to China, India, Africa. Mm-hmm. And little did we know, because our idea was, okay, well, we're going to focus on technological things and issues and creativity and research and development.
Right.
Not realizing that in doing that, we were making China a superpower.
Right.
So we basically gave them everything that we had because we had this intention of doing something different, more important, more involved.
Right.
But what
happened, or so we believe,
or so we thought.
Right.
Now we know that idea was a failure.
Yep.
Because what happened was they were intent on making America more technologically based, but they were not preparing the American citizen for that transition.
Right.
We were still stuck in manufacturing.
Exactly.
So very few people went to school.
You like the boomers.
Yes.
Like boomers, for example, believed in manufacturing, hard work.
And even
leave that technology alone.
Even my generation too, because we didn't grow up with this stuff. We have just learned over time, and not all of us learned.
Right.
Some of us are being involved with the new technology, but not all.
And what's sad about it is they're getting left behind in the economic world of America.
Exactly. But I say all that to say, and with this new AI that's coming on board, we need to understand as American citizens where our aspirations should lie. So because we are becoming more AI focused,
right,
we need to start educating ourselves in coding.
Right.
We need to be a part of this data that is going to be needed for AI creation and generation.
Right.
But what's happening is, again, because we're making the same mistake over and over again, are we pushing this to our kids? That this is the field you need to go into. This is what you need to focus on. Are we still focusing on things of the past?
And it needs to be implemented into schools. And this is one thing.
Exactly.
And this is one thing that people were up in arms about when they were getting rid of books for computers, exchanging textbooks for iPads in the classroom and things of that nature. But it's necessary based off of where the country is headed.
Or the world.
Yeah, really the world. Because I don't know, for those of you who are listening who don't know this, computer literacy is its own language. if you know computer literacy, you are considered bilingual. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You are.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes
it's its
sense.
own language.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
It really is. So, okay, so if you are filling out, applications are kind of a thing of the past, but on your resume,
Right.
can you put, if you know coding, you put bilingual?
You can, yes. You can put, and if they ask, what are you bilingual in? It's computer literacy and English.
I had no idea.
Yep. It's a whole
It makes sense,
language.
though. It makes sense, though. It really does. So people are trilingual in a way.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah, some people are trilingual.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. So I don't know. How do you feel about as we were talking about AI earlier in iRobot?
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel about having a robot that was, of course, AI generated here in your home? Is that something that you would sign up for? If again, it was relatively affordable, is it something that you would subscribe to?
Prior to knowing that AI could have biases and discrimination, I would say yes. But after learning that information, no, because I do not fit the description for the paper bag. I do not pass. Look, I don't pass. So in the event that they decided to say, okay, activate all the robots in black households to start killing and capturing folks, then no.
That's hilarious.
It's a no for me.
What
about you?
For me, dog.
Yeah, it's a no for me, dog.
No. Okay, so for me, if I could approve the coding, but of course, in improving the coding, you'd have to know about it.
Exactly.
But I would definitely like to be a test dummy. I would. I would like to see how that would work, and if you could, put in suggestion.
But don't call me when the robot's trying to bust down the door and you need help, because I told you.
That day is coming.
It is. It is.
When I was a kid, there used to be a cartoon.
It's already here.
There used to be a cartoon called The Jetsons.
Okay. Oh, I remember the Jetsons.
Yeah, I remember Rosie.
I remember the Jetsons.
They used to have Rosie, and she was the housekeeper. And they would also just press a button, and the dinner would be ready. Mm-hmm. And, people would always laugh when they say, at some point, this is going to be our lives.
Right.
But we're almost there, you guys.
We're almost there. And in a way, AI is already in our homes. Some of you have Alexa. Some of you, like me, you have Siri. And we've all had those instances where we're having conversation and Siri's like, what was that? And isn't Siri only supposed to be activated when you say, hey, Siri?
Siri's always listening.
Right.
Alexa's always listening.
Exactly.
A few years back, when I first got involved in this AI thing, we got the Google little circle things. And when you say, hey, Google, and you ask it a question, and they're always listening. And not only are they always listening, but they're also opening a door to, again, those people with nefarious intent.
Yes.
So that's something that we are really opening ourselves up for with AI.
It's true.
And it's something, I'm the older generation, you guys, for those who don't know, but I am between, getting really acclimated to the whole online thing and then still kind of feeling like, I don't know. So I disconnected my Google because it would just made me so uncomfortable because I remember having a conversation on the phone with a friend and Google started saying stuff regarding my conversation because it's always listening.
Right.
But it's definitely a thing of the future. So.
And for me, I also feel like, I don't remember. So anyway, guys, that's AI. That's our AI conversation for today. Do you have anything else for him today, Twist?
I would just wonder what you guys, what the divers think about AI, and are we going in the right direction?
How do you guys feel about AI, guys? What are some pros and cons that we didn't list that you guys know about? let us know. Again, you can always contact us at generationalcrossroads722 at gmail.com. That's generationalcrossroads722 at gmail.com. We're also on TikTok at cosmic_twist722 and Instagram in the deep end 7. Thanks for diving deep with us today, guys, and hopefully you guys come back for our next conversation. All right, you guys gone.